Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
In the wake of the mass power outages affecting so many customers, we're hearing from the leader of DTE.
We are going to do better. We will be better.
Yes, he knows people are upset, but what is the plan to prevent it from happening again?
And along with snow, there is once again the possibility of ice in the next round of winter weather set to arrive here tomorrow. We appreciate you being with us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Kimberly Gill.
I'm Devin Skillian. A lot of us will be getting significant snow and gusty winds too, but there will be once again a very wide variation depending on where you are. Kim Adams here off the top at 6 with the updated forewarned forecast. Kim.
Well, you see those totals that were running at the bottom of the screen. I want to say these are preliminary totals. We're watching that rain snow line set up, and this system is still way down in Texas. It has a long way to go, and there are a lot of variables, which is why the National Weather Service is keeping us under a watch and not upgrading us to a warning, because there are several factors that could make this big or a bust. I have to be honest about that. So take those with a grain of salt. This is what, as things stand right now, what we're thinking. I'm watching very closely this line of thunderstorms down to our south in parts of Oklahoma and also Texas. And the reason why is because there have been some very strong thunderstorms, very convective with high cloud tops. What this tells me is that, first of all, it's a very strong storm system, but a lot of that convection is robbing some of the moisture away from this system as it moves up through the mid-Mississippi and Ohio valleys. There's also a system developing off the East Coast that some of this energy will be transferred to that. So a lot of factors playing into this that could reduce the totals. At the same time, if those situations don't occur, we could have more, and those snow totals may go up. So they are going to fluctuate. It's a wide range, and the National Weather Service, again, keeping us under a watch, not a warning, which is saying that it's imminent. Just they're saying watch out for it right now, but things are changing. Late morning arrival in the south, most of Metro Detroit. This will not arrive until later in the afternoon. Best way to keep up to date on whether or not you're getting rain at your house, snow, how much, when, you need to download this Forewarned Weather app. You put in your neighborhood and it will tell you when it's going to rain, when it's going to snow, how much you're going to get, minute by minute forecast, interactive radar right in the palm of your hand. It's a great app. It's free. Just go to your favorite app store, type in WDIV.
Hey, Kim, thank you. And as hundreds of thousands who lost power in last week's ice storm now anticipate this next round of winter weather, we asked on our Facebook page, what's one question you would ask the CEO of DTE? Not surprisingly, we got hundreds of responses.
Yeah. And today I had the chance to ask a number of those questions of Jerry Narcia in a one-on-one interview in the command center over at DTE. We talked about how frustrated customers are, not only with the length of the outage, but also the missed predictions on when they could expect power back. He agrees the planning wasn't good enough. It's not news to you for me to tell you that you have a lot of absolutely furious customers. What do you tell them?
Well, we completely understand. Last Wednesday night we had a historic ice storm that, rolled through Wednesday night, through Thursday night, and at the end of all of that, we had about 1.7 million customers that still had power, but that's what's not important. We had 630,000 customers without power that evening. And while we restored 50%, by Friday night and 80% by Saturday night and 98% by Sunday night, we had about 14 or 15,000 customers that rolled into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And I just have to say to my customers, that's unacceptable.
But we also had a big problem with expectation management. Don't tell me my power is going to be back on Sunday if I'm going to not actually see power until the following Tuesday or Wednesday. I mean, why was that mistake made in maybe underestimating what it took to get back online?
That's a great question. We get these type of ice storms every 50 or 60 years. So typically when we produce an estimate, it's based on our historic instances where we've had outages and so many customers and so many devices that appear disabled on this screen, and we make an estimate. But when you arrive on a job and you actually see the damage, it was a lot more extensive than any of our models had predicted. And that's why we, on Thursday and Friday, we brought an incremental 1,000 workers in, because the damage was much worse. So when we arrived at the job, we found that it was going to take a lot longer to repair. And that's why estimates changed. Not ideal, not great for our customers, But these are very rare events that are happening more and more often.
I'm sure you're familiar with the Citizens Utility Board breakdown that shows that Michigan has the 5th worst efficiency when it comes to, and reliability when it comes to utilities in the country. I thought, well, Michigan has more trees maybe. I start looking into it. Washington State, 2nd best. Minnesota, 9th best. Even Wisconsin, I think 24th or 25th best. Why are we lagging the rest of the country in our reliability of our systems?
Great question. Let me break it down for you. So there's really 2 components to reliability. One is the number of outages, and 2, the amount of time that it takes to restore those outages. So from a number of outages perspective, we're about average in the country, which is still not great. We don't have the best grid in terms of number of outages and the frequency of outages. The duration is below average, the amount of time that it takes to restore.
Hence the long wait for so many people to get back online. We talked about quite a bit more, including that $35 credit that so many have derided as being completely unhelpful to offset the expenses that many have incurred. That part of the conversation coming up tonight on Local 4 News at 11.
Looking forward to that, Devin. All right, now to a township trying to get ahead of a trash problem. The landfill in Canton is filling up fast, and the township is asking people to do their part to help. Grant Herms is live at the landfill near I-275 and Van Born Road. Grant, you talked to some homeowners who say they expected this to happen.
Yeah, they certainly did. We're going to give you a sense of just how big this landfill is. It has expanded in all directions to its limit, including its height, and now it is 3/4 of the way full. And that is why Canton Township is asking residents to pay closer attention to their trash. In its most recent newsletter, Canton Township is asking people to watch what they empty into the trash because they're running out of room to fill the landfill. In the newsletter, Canton Supervisor Anne Marie Graham-Hudak told residents the landfill was so full it was in its last quadrant, so more than 3/4 full, saying it is more important than ever to divert as much waste as possible, which means recycling as much as possible.
I've been here since that hill's been here, and it growed from a little diggy hill to a king-size hill, and they keep adding.
Keith Jones lives just behind the landfill and has for 20 years.
They expanded. They couldn't go this way, so they went that way. And now they can't go that way no more either. So I was wondering how long it was going to take before they filled it all the way up.
Canton's landfill isn't alone. The most recent report from the Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy showing there were more than 71 million tons of trash put into Michigan's landfills in 2021. Michigan also lags far behind the national average when it comes to recycling. Michiganders recycling just over half the national average. But Leanne Kowalski is one of them.
We recycle, we make sure that we don't put the wrong things. We have our kids recycle, our grandchildren recycle.
And when asked if she was worried about the landfill getting too full,
well, they'll start another one, there's no doubt in my mind.
Now, there's no set timeline for when this landfill would actually fill up. That state breakdown didn't have individual timelines. They do think all of our landfills will fill up, though, in Michigan in the next 26 years. So we've got a little time to figure out this problem. In Canton Township, Grant Herms, Local 4.
All right, Grant. Volunteers at Michigan State are removing the memorials dedicated to the victims of the campus shooting. The flowers, the signs at the Sparty statue and the rock have been there now for 17 days, but crews want to take them away before the snow starts coming in tomorrow. Flowers are going to be turned into mulch to be used during the planting of a memorial tree later this year. Signs and other items are being preserved by the MSU Archives and the Michigan State University Museum. The MSU campus shooting has once again put gun laws, of course, in the Lansing spotlight. And among those pushing for change at the Capitol today, the father and sister of a girl killed in the Oxford High School shooting of 2021. Sean Lay live with that very personal story, as well as what gun owners were saying there today. Sean.
Absolutely. We're talking about the father and sister of Hannah St. Juliana, killed in the Oxford school shooting, back here at the Capitol today with emotional, strong words.
It feels as though I haven't been able to take a breath, but how could I? I haven't heard Hannah's laugh or gone into her room without it being empty and dark in over a year.
The sister and father of Hannah St. Juliana making an emotional plea today in front of state senators in Lansing as new gun control, gun safety, and gun violence measures are being looked at in the wake of the MSU shooting.
Why wasn't Oxford enough? Why aren't the kids who are killed every day from gun violence enough?
just weeks after his daughter's murder at Oxford. Steve St. Juliana came to the Capitol, he says, to beg for stronger gun laws, warning lawmakers then that more kids are going to be gunned down. Today, he's back.
And I said, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when this is going to happen again, and it's going to touch you. Don't wait.
Changes lawmakers believe may make a difference: secure storage of firearms, background checks, and red flag laws. Gun owners also in Lansing today supporting tougher gun laws.
As I said, I own a lot of guns. I'm passionate about them. I love to shoot. We shoot a lot. And I've owned guns my whole life. But it comes down to this. So unless we want to continue to bury our children and grandchildren, we have to value their lives more than we value the guns.
Speaking there is Mike Jackson. He's from Monroe, owns 20 guns. His granddaughter was on the MSU campus. She's a student here, and texted him that there was an active shooter. So he was here in Lansing today as a gun owner, saying these responsible gun laws, beefing them up, makes sense to him. We are asking lawmakers, Devin, would any of these new laws being proposed or beefing up the laws, gun laws, would have helped in the MSU shooting? Lawmakers, some of them pointing to the red flag laws, perhaps because the shooter did have an element of a mental health history. Keep in mind, however, he was charged with a felony at one point. That was amended down to a misdemeanor, allowing him to legally buy 2 guns used in that shooting. More debate to come.
Yeah.
Lawmakers encouraged something can get done. Back to you.
Well, really good questions. All right, Sean.
A man suspected of robbing 2 dollar stores within minutes is chased down and arrested by Warren police. Dash cam and body cam footage shows how it all unfolded in broad daylight on Wednesday afternoon. The suspect allegedly robbed the Dollar Generals on Van Dyke and Hoover Road, taking off in a stolen Chrysler 300. The suspect crashed the car and officers were able to arrest him with the help of a K9 police dog. Warren police say the short time between the 2 robberies made this suspect a priority.
This wasn't just a traffic pursuit for somebody speeding. This was a violent and dangerous suspect who needed to be taken off the streets. He had just robbed 2 Dollar General stores in a span of 15 minutes. He's suspected in several other robberies in the area. If we let him go, what else is he going to do?
Police say no one was hurt as a result of that pursuit.
Police are searching for the man caught recording women in a bathroom at Henry Ford College. Dearborn police say the female student walked into a bathroom on the 3rd floor of Building G and saw this man inside a stall. She says he had a recording device pointed in her direction. She was able to snap this photo of the man as he ran away. If you recognize him, perhaps from the coat, or you might recognize what we can see of his face, call Dearborn Police or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-SPEAK-UP.